Hayao Miyazaki's Lupin III is his first feature film. Not the director we are accustomed to, Miyazaki at this time is brimming with raw potential. His style yet refined, but Miyazaki creates an adventure that shows glimpses into the worlds he can create. An early indication of the details Miyazaki will be known for, his energetic enthusiasm for his craft is clearly seen throughout the movie. The opening scene is filled with expressive movements, from the characters' interactions to the hard metal cast looking more alive with personality than many characters in today's movies. His style clearly defined and worked on throughout his career, Miyazaki stakes a claim of being a director to look out for, and he clearly came through with that promise. It comes at no surprise after digging a little around that Miyazaki didn't rely on the plot being the unique selling point of the movie. The idea of Lupin finding out the secrets to the Gothic bills, but is then tangled up in the forced wedding of a princess, feels secondary to the adventure of Lupin. The idea being that we don't care about the story, but we enjoy the moments with Lupin. This could be due to the fact that Lupin III was a television show and Miyazaki was tasked to create a spin-off movie. The spin-off in essence is a way to sell the television show and in a way to sell the character of Lupin. There is backstory and lore, but it doesn't feel important or even necessary to the progression of the film. The only role the story plays is to put Lupin in entertaining situations to entertain the audience. Just like Miyazaki's style being very energetic, the expressive nature in a character's movement is probably an inside look at the young director's vigour for the art he is creating. Clearly passionate about what he does, Miyazaki's Lupin is clearly passionate about what he does, stealing. A crime turned to an art form, Lupin is the world's most known burglar, so much so he is on the police watch list. But his character is charming enough that we forget that he is a criminal, and when we are reminded, we turn a blind eye. The happy-go-lucky nature and the thrill he gets in being in dangerous situations adds to that charm. Maybe I long to be someone that charming and skilled that I can justify his wrongdoings. This personality trait creates a character bigger than the story, which makes it no surprise that Lupin is the focus of everything. With the characters such as the princess, Lupin's second man Daisuke Jigen, and the count, there is a plethora of other characters that can take the limelight away from Lupin. But Miyazaki instead focuses on Lupin and puts the supporting characters as exactly that, supporting characters. Miyazaki even puts the lore and backstory of the castle and the two families as a side bit in favour of having Lupin as central to the film as possible. However, is this a detriment to the movie? The plot being Lupin wants to discover the secrets of the Gothic bills but ends up rescuing a princess from a forced marriage isn't designed to be intricate. Miyazaki adds little bits of the town's history throughout the movie, but in essence it is not important because the film isn't about the princess being forced into a marriage, nor is it about the Gothic bills. The movie is about the character of Lupin, his reasons, his motives, and his story. Just like I said earlier, the movie is to sell the character of Lupin. Lupin also reminds me of Spike from the legendary Cowboy Bebop, both charismatic in the face of danger, both confident in their ability. Lupin feels like a prototype to Spike, and not only in personality but also with appearance, the suits being a trademark for both characters. And let's not forget Jet, whose appearance is nearly identical to that of Daisuke Jigen. I would love to have a concrete answer to whether Miyazaki was the influence in creating the coolest character on TV, but more realistically, the inspiration would have been the Lupin TV show. But in the end, Lupin III, the castle of Cagliostro, is entertaining to watch. The combined use of expressive directions with the lovable rogue Lupin being our guide makes Lupin III fun and a great time. A Ghost Story isn't presented like your average movie. David Lowery preferred to be more visual with his storytelling, and it is that choice that makes me believe that A Ghost Story isn't made to be entertaining, but to be profound. Compared with Hayao Miyazaki's approach with Lupin III, his energetic style is clearly used to keep the audience at Lupin's pace and for us to be entertained. But with David Lowery's slow and methodical directing, his overuse of lingering shots is an indication of where he wants this movie to be acknowledged at. A movie made for people who view cinema as a tool for expressing out there ideas. But the failure with A Ghost Story is that attempt to be creative in telling a simple idea. On surface level, the theme of life moving on after death is clearly seen throughout the movie. Casey Affleck's ghost watches his lover move on by leaving the house they both lived in, as he then sees how life moves on through the shell of his home. But come the end of the movie, I question the purpose of the movie. The ambiguous ending seems like a slap to the face as we endure 1.5 hours of build-up. The ghost's attempt to scratch out the note of M is his only motivation. The sense of anticipation to see what was written was the key aspect for me to be involved in the movie. Instead of being a bystander, I too felt his anxiety to also see what was written on that note. So instead of finishing the movie with new ideas, I was left frustrated to have been left in the dark. An argument can be stated that it was David Lowery's intentions to leave the audience unfulfilled, and that can be true. But that does not mean it was successful in conveying what he is trying to say. My interpretation of the ending is, if death is meaningless, then the note too is meaningless. This outcome of mine is sort of based on what that man's speech was about. I interpret his speech as the dumbed down bit for the audience, so we can understand what the movie is about. And even then, I'm not sure what that man was trying to say, because just like the movie, the man's speech doesn't really go anywhere, leaving me once again unfulfilled and confused on what the point was. To me, I put A Ghost Story in the Donnie Darko category, where I was left bemused and had more questions because the movie had no answers, and it all goes back to what was the point of the movie. If the intention was to leave me asking more questions, then it succeeded, because I have plenty of questions. However, it can be said that having movies linger in your head is good, and I can agree to that, but it doesn't leave me understanding the movie better, nor does it leave me feeling like the movie earns that ambiguous ending. Throughout the movie, you want to find out what was written on that paper because it is the only reason the ghost exists. Compare that ending to Inception, where the movie earns that right to be ambiguous because it isn't the point of the movie if it was a dream or not. Cobb is finally with his children. A Ghost Story, however, builds the anticipation only to let you down. I do, however, have some good things to say about the movie. I like the portrayal of time. I like thinking about, does the ghost feel time like we feel time? Or does it feel time as we see it in the movie, where his lifespan before he poofs out of existence was literally an hour? The thought doesn't add much to the outcome of the movie, but it does give you a different perspective. You feel less sympathetic to the ghost if it only existed for 1 hour, but if he felt time as we feel it, then you garner more sympathy and accept his brash nature towards some of the people who lived at that house. Other than that, my feelings for A Ghost Story is inspired by this one IMDb review that opens up perfectly about the movie. Imagine listening to a joke for 90 minutes to then never hear the punchline. In the end, we had two movies constructed on two different sides of the spectrum. Lupin III created to be pure entertainment, and the other, A Ghost Story, crafted to be profound. I believe one succeeded while the other got lost in its own importance. But what do you guys think about Lupin III and A Ghost Story? Comment below and tell me what you prefer.